Hi everybody, welcome back to my crafty desk, somewhat cleaned up, yay. I wanted to just I need some more of these bags and I forgot to order them and it takes Amazon forever, at least a week or longer, which I guess that really isn't forever, but I don't want to wait that long. And I thought, why don't I just make my own, and if I'm gonna do that, why don't I show you how I'm gonna do it? So that's what we're going to do. So I've already pulled this apart. I have one still in my stash, so I opened it up and I thought, oh, well, there's a couple of different ways we can do this. So if you currently have a bag that you like, whether it's this one or a different one, an easy way to do it is to take the paper. Mine is not double-sided. This one right here is, but these ones aren't. You can simply take it, even if it is double-sided, it doesn't matter really. Take a measure, or just trace around your thing. So I will say with this, if it's a pattern, and I learned this already by doing it upside down once, is to take your paper and fold it up first and see which way you're gonna like it. And so, you see, and I really don't mind if my flowers are upside down or sideways. So if I was gonna do this like that, I would just simply measure it out and cut it down. Now I already measured the full width of my bag and the length. And that length, I gave myself a little extra at 8 3/4, which is quite a bit more than what we need. I wanted room to not only trim my edges out here, the top and the bottom, that I wanted room to make a mistake. So, but total inches, it is the length. It's not even quite 8 1/2 and long, but I went 8 3/4. The total width with these little flaps is 4 inches wide. So that's what these all measure. I cut these ones all down at 8 3/4 and 4 inches wide. So I'll just cut this one down because this is a double-sided one, and I'll make one cut for you so you can see. This is just solid green on one side and polka dots on the other, which I love. I love polka dots. So 8 3/4. I don't think my whole thing's going to be on the camera. I don't know. Let's see. So 8 3/4. I have a cutter, so I'm going to use it. And then the 4 inches, I'm going to do right here. And there, that's how I got my piece. And then I just take my large scraps and put them over there, and then I'm going to put this away. Now, if you have a scoring board tool, then that might come in handy for you. I did not use it on these ones, and so I might use it on one. I don't know yet, but I'm trying to do things as if I didn't have all of these tools. You know, the cutter. I don't have a straight cut, so if I don't do that, then we're just gonna all be wondering what the heck I'm doing here. So I don't really care which way this goes. I'm gonna go ahead and do the first one. I'm gonna trace it out. So. I already have my width cut, so I don't have to worry about that. And I just simply take my pencil and I just kind of follow that around. No big deal. And then same thing over here. Which you don't have to cut your width and everything down if you're doing it like this, obviously, but I did already, so I'm just going with it. So that is really just that simple. So now I'm gonna cut this. So when I did my cut, I just cut, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, my bag's going to be whatever size it's going to be when I'm done, I think. And I feel like with this, now I have given myself options of finding the actual size, if I'm going to use them all the time, actual size of bag that I really do want to use versus just using this one. Now, these lines are straight across, but I kind of like this little thing right there. So I'm going to go like that. And then I'm just going to curve it up, give myself some space. So I can go back in with the scissors. So if you have decorative scissors, if you just do your own raggedy cut, if you don't want a raggedy cut, then those are all your options and your choices. I have decorative scissors, but they're far out of my reach. So I'm going to use my pinking shears, and I'm going to help myself out and go as wide as I can so I can go all the way across. Just like so. I'm also, I guess I should have said this, usually I I think it's better to fold first, cut second, but I forgot. Okay, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I even wrote myself some notes, but I'm not looking at them because, oh, they're there. I'm like, I stacked on them. I stacked. Jeez. I'm gonna fold my flaps in. So obviously I feel like tracing is definitely easier because it's because it's a template, you know? But if you don't have one of those bags or a template already, then once you make one, you can make that, then you can create your template. Oh, I guess I do have to cut the sides though before I fold. Well, not necessarily, because that's gonna be folded, right? So I'm just gonna fold that in. And then when I fold this up, and that's kind of how I see like where everything's gonna match up. And it doesn't completely match up, but you know what? Neither did this. See? It didn't completely match up. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if that makes it I don't know if that helps it. I don't know if my ink is dark enough, but see? And then that doesn't matter either because you can decorate them, you can put lace on them, unless it does matter to you. If it matters to you, then, you know, by all means, match it up. So, the harder I try to be perfect, the worse off I'm going to be, and I already know that about myself. So I have to just kind of wing it. I think I want that to be a little bit. See, now I would have had that cut the first time the way I liked it. So the other thing you can do here is if you really want exact cuts, it's really easy. Instead of having to flip papers around, since I know what I want here, I can just go ahead and I can just cut those, which we're not going to see. They're going to be folded underneath. And then I can go like this. And these are not exactly, you know, like those bags, but it's pretty close. So now I have that kind of cut going on. Now when I fold these in, I can kind of get another little peek to see, is everything where I like it? Now that piece is gonna have to be cut off still. That's okay. And it comes up like that. Yep, so far so good. And now I'm not gonna worry about that piece because, well, I guess it's in that fold. I kind of do want to worry about it. Pardon me. Now I'm just going to, same thing, I'm going to try to get the widest cut I can get. Turning my paper, not my scissors. I'm going to stop and pull it back in right there. So, is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be good enough for me? Yes. There. Then we just have to glue them down, and then that one's done. I will say, even though I'm saying you don't be perfect, my cut right here is so crooked that I kind of want to straighten that line out just a tiny bit here. And honestly, I'm probably going to end up covering it up with something, so I'm probably just wasting my time. But, so my bag can go that way, or it can go this way. It can be a floating pocket bag or whatever I want it to do. So now I have that. Then, the other one that I did already was without a template. I thought, what if somebody doesn't have a bag? What if they don't have a template and they still want to do this? Totally thought I was using this paper when I made that. That's funny. Okay, so get my scissors here, my stuff going on. So I know my I'm gonna move this paper. I need this measuring crafting mat here for a second. Good night. Give me just a second. Everything's in my way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this, I want to get some folds on here. So I know my bag is going to measure up 4 inches because I've already measured it. And yes, I do have a template to play with, but I'm giving you the measurements of this bag. So this bag is going to measure up all the way. This fold is going to measure 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go just a tiny over 4 inches just to allow myself to make this decorative edge, but also to allow myself a whoopsie. So I'm going to go here to that square here at the bottom, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to measure at least right there, but I'm going to go 4 1/4. Whoops, come on, fold up paper. And again, I don't care if it's perfect. I just want to kind of get this down to see how it's gonna work. And I just measure it to the sides where I've already cut on that paper cutter, because that should be pretty straight, we think. And just give myself a nice burnish. So I have that fold. Now I know from measuring on my bag here that I want to fold, these are gonna be in 1/2 inch each from my width that I did cut. So I know I'm gonna go a 1/2 inch, so I just, again, use these. And if it's not a perfect 1/2 inch, that's fine. Like, what is a 1/2 inch here? It is gonna be about right. It'd be easier if I measured it this way, probably. So I'm gonna measure it into that line right there, kind of like, yeah, it's okay. If my bag's a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, that's fine. I will learn from my folding technique how I'm gonna like it to be done the next time. Okay, and then I'm gonna put that up there, and then the same thing. And I'm literally going to just guess here. So I'm gonna eyeball it. Bottom part doesn't really matter so much because that's going to be cut off. So now I have these folds that I can work with. And I do have extra length on both bottom and top. This now, I'm going to maybe refer to my notes so I can kind of stay on track here. What did I do? I cut the bottom 1/2 inch folds off. That's what I did. That is what I did. So maybe we can see it this side. Can you see it? So I'm going to cut that and that, since that's my bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up this way so you can see those lines with me. So I'm just going to cut up that line. You can tear it. You can, however you want to cut it off, you can cut it off. Whoops. I don't think that's straight, but that's okay. I can deal with that later. And then I'm going to, we can just cut those off all together right now, or just you can do 2 cuts. You can cut it off and then cut the slant, or you can just go ahead and cut the slant. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the slant because that's gonna be tucked in. Does that make sense? And then the same thing over here. I'm just gonna eyeball it, but again, this is where, or no, I guess I won't. I'll show you what I did the first time. If I want that to match fully, I would just open it like that and then just cut the slant. And there we go. If you're worried about folding, you didn't want to get creases and crinkles in your paper, then you could always just take that one piece off and flip it over and hold it and stuff like that. My hands are not going to do that. They don't like that. So I'm just going to go with the flow like that. Fold my paper up. So as you can see, I have some length. See how these are up high? That's my length. These are going to be cut back, and that's going to be cut. So I think what I'm going to do here first is go ahead and cut this piece off so I know where I'm working. And again, I'm just going to go straight across, and I'm not going to worry too much on how big my bag is, because I'm going to make whatever card that goes in there to fit it. And I think I cut that crooked. That kind of does bother me, so I'm going to do a little bit. And now I have little jaggedy pieces, which that doesn't bother me. So I feel like that's a little bit more straighter. So then we decide, I think what I'm gonna do here is, I just, like last time, I had to cut twice. So I think what I'm gonna do here is just kind of mark on the inside where see my teeth right there. I just wanna kind of go right inside there so I know kind of where I'm going with that. Because I've got to do the slant cut on those as well. Does that make sense? I don't know how I'm going to do that. Hold on one second. I drew it on this side. Okay, here we go. So I know I'm going to cut it this way. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm just going to cut this off. That's, I think, easier. At this moment in time, it's easier. Okay. Now, do you see what I did? So now if I really want to get a nice slanted cut on there, I can. I mean, like, it's not really necessary because it's going to be underneath stuff, but if you are like me and it just like I don't know, I guess, is that OCD? I don't care. I don't care what it is. It makes me feel better. There we go. So now when I fold those in and I fold this up, if I can grab it, there we go. It's all tucked underneath. So once I cut this rounded part off, if I feel like this is too high, I would just cut a little bit more off and bring it down like that. So let's get the round part cut. And I'm just going to start on the corner here, and I'm just going to go around best I can. Let's see. Looks good like that. How does it look like this? Ooh, it looks like this needs to be cut down just a little bit more. And my sides might need to be cut down a tiny bit more. So anyhow, I'm fiddling a lot more with this. I feel like I fiddle way more when I'm trying to explain stuff than when I just am doing it on my own. But it's definitely, I thought it would be a fun little video to watch. So as you can see, I cut that crooked again, but whatever. I feel like this is why you don't want me to cut your hair, because I'll just keep trimming it down until it's perfect. Anyhow, I think that's pretty good. You know, the side's a little bit wide on that end, and so, you know, that's where you could definitely come back in and give it a little bit of a cleanup. Right there and right here. And there we have it. And it's all done, except for gluing. This is where I would glue it. Now, if you didn't want that to be white, that's where you would do your any kind of inking or stamping or adding extra paper. And I want these flaps to stay down, so I'm gonna go, oh, whoops. I don't want it to glue it shut though. I mean, you know, I can't use it. I want these flaps on there. So I'm just gonna go around the edges of those. And trying to make sure I really want it to attach to here so I'm not getting hung up on stuff later on. And there we go. And just like that, I'm going to use this skinny bag that I made and see if it fits. There we go. And there we have a little bag. And then, so see how that went over? If that really bothers me, I can trim it there. But if I'm going to glue this down like I have been for my other pockets, then I wouldn't even worry about it. But if it bothers you, I say just cut it down and make it so it's the way you like it. Let's try another one really quick here. And this one, I'm going to go ahead and just do the same technique of using my template. So say I didn't glue this one yet, and I finally made one that I'm okay with, and so now I have a template, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and use my template, and here's where I decide what side do I want to come up. It's gonna be the polka dots, so I'm gonna make sure that my top is on the inside. My top will always be whatever's gonna be on the inside of this part up here. And I'm going to just give myself a tiny bit more room than that. Okay, and hoping I'm all the way on this camera. Like struggle. Okay, I think I have to come down. There we go. Let's see. Oops, and I'm just gonna kind of go around there, go around there. So it's a little crooked, my little sides are, but that's okay. Let's just see what happens. I just wanted to get those parts cut off really quick. So I know I'm gonna fold up to that line. Here. Maybe I'll fold it this way first so I can see where my line is. There. Does that make sense what I just did? And I just wanted to get that crease so I knew where to start. And then I can line it up on, since I didn't cut that flap off yet, I can kind of line it up with that. As long as it's on the straight edge of the paper, right? Okay. We have that. And then I'm going to the same thing here. I'm just gonna, where did my lines start? They started right there. So I'm gonna go that way on that one. Where is my edge here? So this one I didn't draw all the way down, so I'm gonna do that one right there. There we go. And now I have that crease right there. Perfect. And I have this crease right here, which I can see right here. So I'm just gonna go along with that. And all right, then I'm gonna cut this piece off right here. And I'm just gonna cut right inside that line up to the crease. And then same thing on this side, I'm gonna cut right inside that line. That should help me to not be over when I'm doing that. We'll see. We'll see if that works. How well did that work? And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off right there. And then I'm gonna cut this one off over here. Because those don't matter if they're perfect because no one's gonna see them. See? No one's gonna see them. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut. Maybe what I'll do is cut the top one off first this time and see if that helps me with my bottom edge. We don't, maybe that'll be different. And then at this point, if I see pencils, you know, I can always go in there and erase them. If I'm using my pencil, which I am, and I'm using these white erasers, which work the best at getting your pencil marks off. Okay. And then I know that I want this to come down. I can actually use this now. I can just fold that down where I want it. A little bit, a little bit. Okay, let's see. Okay, maybe a little bit more and maybe a little bit straighter. Okay, there we go. And there I have it. How fast and easy was that? Isn't that nice? So now I have my own little bags. What did I do with that brown one? See, I already lost it. It's gonna do a comparison for you, but I don't know what I did with it. Guess we don't need it. Oh, here it is. So here we go. Here are my bags. So there's definitely differences. I'm not a machine, so it's not gonna be absolutely perfect. But how nice is that? And I can get as many bags as I want. I can make them thin or thick. You can, I think what I'm gonna do is I have some paper bags, and this is what this feels like, is like a grocery store bag. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make one out of wallpaper, I think, and then I have some light cardstock. I'm gonna do that and get these in my stash so I have them. So please let me know what you think of this little bag thing. If you've already made them before, if you have some tips and tricks that I missed here, please share them with me. I'd love to be able to make it definitely easier, you know, and have fun. So thanks for joining in. I'll see you on the next video, friends. Bye.